The other thing about Hide the Pride is when I saw this on our list and I saw that it said Hide the Pride, I immediately thought that it wasn't, that it was going to be a different topic. I
Right.
thought it was
Well,
going to
what
be
did
all
you think it was going to be?
the white nationalists in the Uhaul.
Huh?
You didn't see this? Okay,
No.
so like Idaho, Iowa, I don't even see how you didn't see this. Basically, somebody called in and said, it looks like a tiny little army is getting into a U-Haul. And the cops pull over a U-Haul that was going to the Pride rally in this town. And there are 20 or more guys in jeans and jackets and full on like masks and like ready to riot gear. They even have like a smoke grenade and they're all going to their local towns. And they show a picture of the town. It's like small. There's like 20 people at this damn thing. And luckily somebody just called in and said a little army is getting into a U-Haul, literally.
So these were what, like
they look like a little army. And
these were like anti-gay people, and these were like counter
white
protesters.
nationalists.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's
actually
you
haven't seen this. That seems like it'd be right on your radar. Right?
I mean, that's really scary because there are a lot of these like small towns where pride is like still very much something that, I mean, Reading was this way for a long time, where like going to Pride was maybe kind of an iffy proposition, right?
Yeah.
Like in terms of your safety and just like, they're always at Reading Pride. I haven't been to Pride up here. Honestly, I kind of doubt I'm gonna go because it's like, why? It's like it's not really a protest. It's just kind of a big party in Seattle, right?
And I'm not much of a partier, so
exactly. And it's it's just crowded and it's not really my scene. But like in Reading, there were always like there were always like counter gay people groups.
Oh, there will be.
And they were peaceful, but like it is very scary if there's only like 20 people at your Pride and then the like KKK shows up with guns. That is like, we're in danger. That's intimidation.
Yeah. I don't know if they are armed, but they did have riot shields, gear on, and a smoke grenade. I know that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. Yeah.
I mean, they could definitely like, I'm guessing these were like strapping young lads too. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, they were worst case scenario white men in their 40s.
Yeah, well, even like a group of deranged people with riot gear is I think a threat.
Absolutely,
right?
Terrifying.
Yeah, like so. Oof.
When I went to the Pride here in Medford, because I was all excited. I'm just all like, ooh, I get to walk past the line. And Jazz is just all, they're gonna think you're just one of them. And I'm like, thanks a lot. Like, screw off, Jasmine. Oh, you got a beard, and you're like, yeah, well, screw off. All right, so, but I get there, and there's just one dude in like khaki shorts, and he's got like a PA system strapped to his back, and he's screaming about how we're out there teaching your babies about sex and all this stuff. And I'm like looking around and seeing a bunch of families and kids as this guy's yelling about child sex on this like PA speaker. I'm all like, I'm not sure this guy's entirely concerned what these kids hear,
Right, yeah. The only person blasting the inappropriate comment is this dude.
Right, yeah. Well, it's like the abortion dudes, they got a picture of an aborted fetus and they're hanging out on the street corner. There was one in Reading, and like my joke was always that I just wanted a big sign with male genitalia on the other side, and then just sit kitty corner from him. And if somebody comes and complains to me, I'd be all like, "That's a freaking dead baby. 50% of the population have these."
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, no, but you would get arrested.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, my other was to have a sign that said, "Honk if you think that dude's mom should have had an abortion."
Oh God. Oof.
All right.
Yeah. It's just what this.
Just think it's weird because how do people even care? I must be the most self-centered person in the world, because I know I say a bunch of stuff about, yeah, people should all have their rights. I'm thinking about me. I'm thinking about my rights, my right to go out and not see people fight over some stupid ass crap when I'm going to the store or when I'm watching the news. I don't even think about what other people are up to doing and how they're doing. And when I see it, I want it fixed because I don't want to live in a world where that BS goes on.
Right.
Before I even get to the part of you hurt that person's feelings. It's like, it's very self-centered of me, but I mean, these other people, they must be truly caring about other people's eternal souls or whatever, because I must be a terrible human.
Yeah, truly, like, wouldn't you want to live in a world where instead of having this giant battle over trans rights that is happening now, we just had people go, oh, well, I guess it's just like gay rights, so fine. And there just wasn't a battle about it. Like,
you want to do something that doesn't affect me?
Right. How many times do we have to learn this lesson? Like, we had the gay rights movement, we had the civil rights movement, we had like women's suffrage. Like, how many times do we have to expand people's minds by inches before people just expand their minds?
Right.
Like,
and do their minds really expand, or do they just stop caring?
I mean, I don't think people's minds do expand, really. I think what these movements mostly do is just make it so that the people who are bigoted and will continue to be bigoted to the day they die just stop like spreading it. I think it mostly just drives them into the underground, and then over generations these beliefs sort of decrease. But
yeah, and it does lead me to believe that these people just have no concept of what kids are like, because for one, they're just all, oh yeah, take all the books from the library, that's where kids get their information.
Right. Yeah,
that doesn't happen. And then when I was at the Medford Pride, like I said, I saw a bunch of teenage kids with trans flags running around, and I thought to myself, how many of these kids would actually be here or have any part to do in this if they didn't have some sort of attitude of screw you, old man, because some old man was yelling some hateful BS.
Right. Yeah.
So for the kids who aren't trans, who are just experimenting or just figuring out themselves, some of them are just figuring it out. Everybody's got questions.
Sure,
some of them are looking into it solely because of screw you, old man.
Exactly.
And that's why they're there, because they don't want to be like you. So they're looking into their other options. And frankly, it's looking pretty good. Because if I was left with trans or BU, I probably would turn trans as well if those were my only. And I don't mean to insult people who really have these feelings, because there are a lot. But as things become more normal for people to think about and entertain, people will think about and entertain them. And if you don't give them reason, they will move on if it doesn't apply to them.
Right.
So some people go, well, maybe I'm this. And then they, I mean, I had 3 kids. There wasn't a time. All 3 of my kids went through a point in their life where they asked themselves, and we asked them straight up, are you gay? They had to ask themselves. All 3 of my kids figured out that they were heterosexual, and that's fine. But they had those thoughts. And it's like, if you don't let people have those thoughts, they're going to dwell on them.
No, exactly. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add, but I agree with all of that.
And I've, of course, not coming down on people who are really trans by the people who are searching for themselves. But there are people who are searching for themselves. So we can't deny.
Coeur d'Alene police Saturday discovered the crowd crammed in a U-Haul after a 911 caller described seeing a little army at a local hotel with masks on their faces and slogans like Reclaim America on their shirts. Police charging all 31 with conspiracy to riot, noting they planned to swarm several parts of Coeur d'Alene and carried paperwork similar to an operations plan that a police or military group would put together. They traveled in from states all across the country, allegedly united by white nationalism.